More now, featuring Harvard Law Professor Emeritus Alan Dershowitz, author of the book, The Preventive State, the challenge of preventing serious harms while preserving essential liberties. You are concerned about today's preventative state, and you write that most of today's preventative actions are being undertaken without a firm basis in law, jurisprudence, or morality. Which recent decisions concern you the most? Any that best fit that description?
Well, I think what the rule that I've set out, the law that I've set out, is if you fail to prevent, you will generally overreact afterward. And that's what happened in 9/11. We failed to prevent 9/11, so we passed the Patriot Act and these other statutes that were an overreaction. We tortured, etc. After we failed to prevent Pearl Harbor, we put 110,000 Americans in camps. That was an overreaction. Did Israel overreact in Gaza? Reasonable people could agree or disagree, but they failed to prevent October 7th. So the rule of nature, the rule of law, is that if you fail in your preventive action, you will overreact afterward in order to try to make up for that. And that often creates two bads, two wrongs, rather than two rights. So it's, I think, mostly better to err on the side of preventing rather than to err on the side of allowing. In other words, sometimes false positives are to be preferred over false negatives.
Well, talking about overreaction, I want to ask you about this one. Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil was reunited with his family over the weekend after a judge ordered him freed on bail from an ICE detention facility in Louisiana. The Secretary of State Marco Rubio pulled his residency status and ordered him deported, arguing that Khalil's activities at Columbia University pose potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequences for the United States. And it seems that Rubio does have the authority under the Immigration and Nationality Act. Your thoughts, moral, legal, violation of Khalil's free speech rights? What is this all about?
Well, first of all, it really depends on what Khalil said when he sought his immigration status, his student visa, and his green card. Did he say he was coming here just to study and not to make trouble? Did he admit that he worked for various organizations that advocate violence? If he didn't, then he defrauded the country and he can have his immigration status revoked. I have no problem with granting him bail pending the resolution of this. What I have a problem with is how the left has lionized him and made him into a hero. Look, I defended the rights of Nazis to march in Skokie, but I wouldn't ever, ever praise the Nazis. And people on the left are praising this guy. This guy is a thug. This guy has advocated some of the worst things. He's an anti-Semite. He's anti-American. He's a bigot. Don't make him into a hero. Maybe the government overreacted by taking away his freedom without a due process. That's a fair point to make. But don't make him a hero. He's not a hero. He's a villain. That's the job of a civil liberties lawyer, to defend evil people, but not to make them into heroes. And so I think that's what's been terrible, that they've made this thug into a hero.
Well, and distorted the truth a little bit. We've seen many deportations of illegal immigrants over the years, 12 million under Clinton, 9 million under Bush, 4 million deported during the Obama presidency. How does Trump's approach today differ from previous administrations?
Well, I think Trump initially said he was going to try to prioritize the bad guys, the criminals, the rapists, the robbers, the et cetera. But then he overdid it. Perhaps, and went after people with families, et cetera, people who worked on farms, people who worked in luxury hotels. And now he's pulled back a little and said, wait a minute, maybe we don't want to make it so difficult for farmers to get help and for hotel owners to get help. So I think we're seeing a work in progress. And ultimately, I hope we'll see a situation where the bad guys get deported first.
It's not just the issue of immigration, but there may be as many as 400 lawsuits already filed against President Trump's executive orders and other administrative actions since the start of his term 5 months ago. So that's about 2 to 3 cases every day. I don't think any president has experienced that. Why so many? What should be done about it? Anything? Is it overreach?
Yes, very much so. What we're seeing is lawfare, that we're using the law for political purposes. We're seeing it from all sides. But I think Trump has been the victim of it more than any other president in history. Many of these cases are frivolous, and I think Congress ought to pass a law saying if you want to have a national injunction that prevents the government from acting anywhere in the country, you have to go to a special court, which has the power to grant national injunctions. Right now, any district court judge selected by plaintiffs can issue a national injunction, and that creates real problems because you can have conflicting judges issuing conflicting national injunctions. So I think the reaction and the lawsuits being filed, there are too many. There are too many that are frivolous. That, if you have a substantial lawsuit and you think the Constitution has clearly been violated, okay, that's one thing. But I bet you there'll be lawsuits filed against the president for bombing Iran, and that will be frivolous, but it will happen. And so we have to see something being done about that. And the bar associations have not been taking an appropriate action. They've been one-sidedly against Trump.
Okay, the book is The Preventative State, The Challenge of Preventing Serious Harms While Preserving Essential Liberties. One of the great constitutional lawyers of our country and the world, Professor Alan Dershowitz. It's been a pleasure talking to you again. Thank you for sharing your insights. We appreciate
thank you. It's been a pleasure to be having such good, intelligent questions, and you are the best at that. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Professor. God bless you.
You too.